Hey you guys, thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. My name is Ashley. I am so happy to be recording again. Can we take a moment to get into this beat though? Like, yes, I feel so beat right now. Thank you to Makeup by Z for doing my makeup. She always does my makeup. If you're in Memphis, make sure to check her out. I'm going to include her link down below. So this video today is just going to be about my whole nursing school experience. I get tons and tons of questions about, what was nursing school like for me? How did you make it through nursing school? So I'm finally making a video about my nursing school experience. So if you didn't know, I went to the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. I did a 4-year traditional BSN program. If you've been watching my videos, you know it took me 5 years because I didn't pass one of my nursing classes first semester, and I'll include that video up above if you want to see my video about where I talk about my experience of failing my nursing class and how I bounced back after a major setback. So I spent 5 years at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and with your traditional BSN nursing programs, you guys know the first 2 years you take your prerequisite courses like your maths and sciences, and then the last 2 years are your nursing classes. So I was able to be admitted into the nursing program freshman year. So at my university, you had 2 ways of getting into the College of Nursing. It was either you were admitted your freshman year, or you were able to apply for the nursing program at the end of sophomore year, and they would decide whether or not you were admitted. But I was so thankful that I was admitted freshman year because that took a whole lot of pressure off of me. Of course, you had to maintain your GPA. I want to say we had to keep at least a 3.0 or a 3.5 GPA. I honestly can't remember. But actually, I was on the wait list for the nursing program when I was applying during high school. And I found out in May, before I started college in August, that I was actually admitted into the College of Nursing. So I was very thankful. So I didn't have to take any entrance exams. I know people have asked me like, well, how did you study for the TEAS test? I know that's an exam that some nursing schools require before you can enter into the program. I never had to take the TEAS entrance exam. I will tell you guys, my first semester of nursing school was my hardest semester. I didn't have good study habits at all. I failed my first nursing class during my first semester, and I was completely devastated once I failed my class. But I definitely learned, a valuable lesson in that. So ways I stayed motivated during nursing school, I tried to picture the end goal in mind, graduating with my bachelor's of science in nursing. And I knew in my heart that being a nurse was the only thing that I wanted to do. I didn't really want to do anything else. And also my faith, faith in God helped me going, because I would say in certain situations through nursing school, it was only by Him and His grace that I got through the nursing program. Like, I look back on certain situations, I'm like, I only made it out because of God. So definitely my faith in God really helped me stay motivated. So my study formula for nursing school is pretty simple. This works for me. It might work for you, I'm not sure. But anytime people message me like, how did you study for this class? How did you study for that class? I always give them the same answer. When I was studying for different classes in nursing school, I always made sure I would read the assigned chapters that we were going over. Even though it's a ton of reading, when I would read the assigned chapters, it just helped the information stick better in my brain. With the PowerPoints, I would take detailed notes in class, and then I would go home and make flashcards of the PowerPoints, and I would memorize those PowerPoints. And I would memorize, my flashcards. And then I will always do practice questions pertaining to the different chapters. And you always want to do NCLEX style practice questions before you take any type of test in nursing school, just to train your brain to answer NCLEX style questions, because tests in nursing school aren't like any test you've taken at all. Like, you have to be able to critically think and apply the information to answer a question. And I remember taking tests in nursing school, and I'm like, well, all four of these answers sound like they can be the right answer, but it's always one little detail in the question that will help you pick out the right answer. How I found different NCLEX style practice questions: you can always go online and, type in like NCLEX style practice questions for the respiratory system or the cardiac system. Or you can go to like Barnes & Nobles or Amazon.com, and they have plenty of workbooks on there that have nothing but NCLEX style practice questions for like med-surg classes, pediatrics, your maternity classes. So that's my formula of studying in nursing school. And of course, always, it might be beneficial for you to study with your other nursing classmates, and make sure you get help from your professor if you're not understanding something. And I will always sit in the front in my classes because that helped me to be less distracted. Like, you're right there in the front, and the teacher's right there. So if the teacher's right there, you're not going to be on your phone or anything like that. You're going to be focused on, the PowerPoints and what the teacher is teaching. So my favorite class, aside from my mother baby class in nursing, was my community health class. I love learning how different populations and different cultures perceive healthcare. And I definitely love the clinicals in my community health nursing class. Like, I remember we went to a school clinic at like an elementary school. We also went to a high school and we taught them different topics. We did like a Meals on Wheels program. We went to the health department. And I also got a chance to do a community health assessment in Cherokee, North Carolina, on the eastern band of Cherokee Indians. And we were gone for like it was a week-long trip. And there I found out about the Nurse-Family Partnership. And if you don't know what the Nurse-Family Partnership is, the Nurse-Family Partnership is like a program for moms and babies. Once they're discharged from the hospital, like, they'll have a home visitor, which is a nurse, come to check on the baby and mom. And they do that until, I believe, the child turns like 5 years old. And I always thought that would be like a nice job to do. But I really love my community health nursing class, and all my professors were really nice and sweet. So my least favorite class would have to be med-surg 1. I did pretty good in the class. I got an A, but I would say the clinical portion of the class was really like not my favorite. I'll probably say because my clinical instructor was very difficult. And I feel like all nurses, like when we look back on nursing school, we probably had that one clinical instructor who was just so difficult. Med-surg 1 was definitely my least favorite nursing class. Now, I did like Med-surg 2. That clinical went much better. My clinical instructor, she was like a grad student. I want to say she was getting like her doctorate, and she taught us so much. She created an environment where it was easy for us to learn. I feel like with some clinical instructors, they expect you to know everything, and they forget, like, hey, you're still in nursing school. She made Med-surg 2 a great learning experience for me. And also during nursing school, I know a lot of nursing students, they become CNAs working at local hospitals during nursing school. So I was a CNA the summer right before my super senior year. I worked at a local hospital. I was a float CNA or a float nurse tech. Well, they called us nurse techs, which is basically the same as a CNA. So I would float to different floors. I would float to like med-surg floors, the stroke floor, just basically anywhere they needed me in the hospital. I also got a chance to float to the emergency room. I love floating down to the emergency room. Even though being an emergency room nurse is not for me, I had a good experience when I did float down to the emergency room. So I only did that for like 3 months, but it did help strengthen my clinical skills and made me, you know, a little bit more confident in going into clinicals for my super senior year. In nursing school, you can definitely become a CNA after you, I want to say after you take your foundations class. I had to do as a CNA. Of course, I had to do like vital signs, give bed baths, you know, had to turn patients every 2 hours, you know, always answering like the bed alarms. And I think whenever I would work the floors as a CNA, I would have like maybe, I would have 10 patients. And also I got a chance to be a sitter on one occasion, and usually sitters in a hospital, they usually sit with patients who are like suicidal. I have much faith in you guys to get through nursing school. You know, nursing school isn't like anything you've ever been through, but just keep the main goal in mind. You know, you're gonna be a registered nurse after this, even on your tough days. And you have to realize you're gonna have good and bad days in nursing school. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button if you like this video, and also if you have any questions for me, you know, leave comments for me, or you can email me at prettynurseashley@gmail.com. Connect with me, follow me on Instagram at prettynurseashley. You can find me on Twitter at prettynurseash. Bye bye.